Hosted in conjunction with Chris Media, the CEO interview series allows investors to hear directly from the CEOs leading the companies featured on Wholesale Investor. Enjoy the interview and reach out via the details in the description.
Hi and welcome to another Crisp TV Q&A. Today I'm joined by Howard Moore, CEO of Pictor. Thank you for joining me today, Howard.
Pleasure.
Howard, let's just start on the correct course here by you giving us a high-level overview of Pictor, who you are and what you bring to the biotech space.
Pictor is a New Zealand company that has a novel diagnostic platform based on a multiplex concept. I'm Pictor's CEO, having joined the company in June 2017. Although I've known the company for some time, I am on the board of a small venture fund, Kirkins Ventures, that invested in Pictor about 10 years ago. I see myself as a life sciences entrepreneur, and I bring that entrepreneurship to Pictor.
Excellent. Now, in reading the business profile of Pictor ahead of this interview, I came across the term novel diagnostic tests as the main value proposition at Pictor, or of Pictor. Can you talk about what problem you identified in the market that motivated you to work on this solution and what you mean by a novel diagnostic test, just for an audience who may not be aware?
Yeah, there's an ongoing need for improved diagnostic tools for diagnosing complex diseases that are difficult to diagnose with satisfactory accuracy. This means, in particular, achieving high levels of sensitivity. That's what's really required. Diagnostic tests that are able to diagnose complex diseases do, of course, command higher prices. So it's an attractive business segment. While diagnosing complex diseases that are difficult to diagnose is one feature of the Pictor platform, another significant feature is the ability in one test to diagnose multiple diseases. This is important in developing countries where otherwise diagnostic testing can be prohibitive cost-wise.
Okay, so now more on the nuances of diagnostic testing. Let's talk about some more timely news associated with Pictor, especially in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. You found that the technology is particularly helpful. Can you expound upon this?
Yeah, the Pictor test it can, in one test, detect both of the important antibodies that are associated with the disease, spike protein antibodies and nuclear capsid protein antibodies. Anyone who's contracted COVID-19 will have both spike protein and nuclear capsid protein antibodies. However, anyone who has been vaccinated will only have spike protein antibodies. By detecting the level of particularly spike protein antibodies, it is possible to confirm whether someone has an adequate level of immunity to help fight the infection.
So is this going to become particularly important as we get into the next phase of controlling or at least monitoring those who have caught the disease and who have also been vaccinated, by discerning between what I understand to be vaccine antibodies essentially and infection-induced antibodies. Is that correct? And do you see this as becoming particularly important to discern in the near future?
You're absolutely correct. This is important because it can provide information on the risk an individual presents for infecting others. And that's particularly true if it is also combined with an antigen test. The antigen test determines whether someone's actually infected, and our test can determine whether it's been a recent or infection or some time ago. Knowing whether an individual's level of antibodies are adequate provides information on whether it is also time for them to have a booster.
Got you. Now, how has the market responded to this biotechnology? Are there key clients you can disclose to us in the interview?
Yes, I certainly can. We have agreed terms with a US company, Mobility Health in Ohio. They will be our first commercial laboratory in the US to commence using the test. We've recently completed a large clinical trial in the US involving 2 premier labs, Boca Bio in Florida and Primex in California. We're expecting to have an ongoing relationship with both of those companies. A press release, in fact, went out today in the US announcing the success of those clinical trials.
Congratulations.
It's great. So it's very timely for this interview. We've also agreed terms with the New Zealand lab, but I'm not ready to disclose that lab's name.
Absolutely. Well done so far. Congratulations on everything to date. Now, let's talk about the team behind Pictor for a moment. Howard, you've touched on your own experience and skill set that you bring to the business. Who else can you tell us about the team behind Pictor and how they will, bring their skills to the table and help the growth of this biotechnology venture into the near term?
Our Chief Technology Officer, Dr. Richard Janesco, has had a career in North America in developing novel diagnostics. But much of that was with one of the major diagnostic companies, Luminex. And our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Tad Lazarus, also spent time with Luminex, but his rich career also included Roche Diagnostics, where he played an important role in developing one of the first HIV diagnostics. So it's a real honor for me to be working alongside my colleagues.
Absolutely, it's an impressive team. Howard, just to cap off the interview today, I wanted to give you a chance to discuss the outlook over the next 6 to 12 months for Pictor, and especially for prospective investors to hear what they can perhaps look forward to seeing come out of the news flow with your venture.
Well, the key milestone will be the emergency use authorization from the FDA to market our COVID-19 test in the US. That's going to be huge for Pictor. We've completed the clinical trials that were required for the emergency use authorization. And although we have not publicly disclosed the data, I can say we were extremely pleased with the accuracy achieved. The FDA requires us to maintain secrecy with that data until the EUA is approved. Also, it'll be very significant that the publications reporting on our clinical trials, those publications will of course be scrutinized very closely by scientists and practitioners. That's really, really important. We also expect that the patent we have for our COVID-19 test to issue at some stage this year in the US, and that will attract a lot of attention too. Another test we also expect to launch in New Zealand this year is a diagnostic in the animal health area. It's for the bovine disease Mycoplasma bovis. So this is quite different, but that will be a cash generator, and we'll be very pleased to get that to the market this year. It's also a test with global potential.
So a lot of good news on the horizon, a lot to look forward to and keep an eye on when it comes to Pictor. And for those who are interested in reaching out to a representative from the team, we will have their details on the side of the screen as well as access to their deal room. Howard, thank you so much for joining me today and good luck.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.